Well, good morning. Week 35, and I'm late, but we won't talk about that because I'm late every week. Anyway, I did have a loss this week, and it was zero point 0.4 of a kilogram, which is about an eighth of a pound, so 0.888, I think it is, of a pound. So that's a total of 33.3 so far, and that equates to 73.4 pounds. So getting there slow but sure. I'm doubtful now whether I'm going to reach my goal of 65 kgs by the time I head out to the UK in 7 weeks' time, or just under 7 weeks' time now, because the progress is slowing. I'm currently weigh 68.6 kgs, so that means I've got 3.6 kgs to lose in 6 weeks, and on average that's going to be a half a kg or more a week, and I don't think I'm going to make that. So but that's okay. It's not a big deal, so long as I keep the weight off, and I keep having a progress down. If I put on a bit of weight, which I'm sure I will do in the UK, I'm hoping not. I don't intend to put on weight, but I'm sure I will do, because there will be temptations and you're a bit more relaxed on holiday. But it is what it is. I'll get back on the wagon, and when I get back, as I say, and hopefully I'll, get back into it. So, but I'm not going to stress about it. This week I wanted to talk about a little bit about mental illness. I think I've admitted on this channel that I have suffered with mental illness sort of most of my life, really, on and off, with depression, and I do have a history of mental illness in the family, and you do find that it does run down through the families. Like one of my sons has got some issues as well. In fact, really, both my sons have got issues. So why I wanted to talk about it is one of my favourite YouTube creators, if you like, Oliver's Greenhouse, is giving up his YouTube channel because and giving up all his orchids. And I know this is not my orchid channel, but it's my life, so, and this is basically what this channel is. He's given up his orchid collection because he suffers with mental illness, and he's had a bit of a breakdown, and he's had to change his career options, and and he needs the money, basically. He needs to sell his collection of orchids and carnivorous plants and unusual weird stuff that he's been growing over the years, and he's selling it via a auction site in the UK, or quite a famous auction site. And I thought, it's sad, really, how he has to do that. And also, I understand where he's coming from, because like he said, he doesn't want the plants to be a burden. And I really understand that, yes, they can be a burden. and I'm starting to feel around that my plants are becoming a burden. My sort of garden, I've got quite a large garden that I have to look after, and it started to become a burden because my outlook in life has changed. I want to do different things. I don't want to, when I was bigger, and I was quite happy to hide away at this property, just looking after the garden and doing the things I wanted to do. And when I started growing orchids, when I started collecting them, I was large, I was big, and I thought, oh, it'll give me something to do while I'm at home here, And of course, that was, a good year or more, a year and a bit before I started to lose weight. And now I've sort of come through the process of losing weight. My attitude's changed a little bit, and so I totally get where Oliver's coming from, although he's forced to do it because he's, wanting to start a business and he needs to get a vehicle. But I totally understand the burden side of things, how he doesn't want it to become a burden. And, and I feel that my orchids are a burden. The collection of plants I have are becoming a burden. The garden is becoming a burden. And, it's like I've just planted over the weekend with the help of my son and my husband, 200 daffodil bulbs, over the back there, which is nothing. 200 daffodil bulbs in a property this size really isn't going to have massive impact. I planted another 40 yesterday, and I've got another 80 to go in the ground today. And it is becoming, whereas I used to be enthusiastic about doing stuff and I'm really keen to do it, it's almost to the point now where it is a chore. I've got to get them in. I've got to get them in the ground. Am I looking forward to seeing the display in spring? I sort of am, and I'm sort of not bothered, and which is not good. So I suppose what I'm getting at is the whole point is, your life changes as you go on. It doesn't stay the same. You have relationship changes, you have family changes, you have changes in your circumstances, and you have life changes. And for me, this weight loss has been a life-changing experience, if you like, because I want to go out more now. I don't mind being seen in public anymore. I don't feel ashamed of what I look like, whereas I certainly did before, and that's why I hid away here in this property. So, so now the property is up for sale. We haven't had a lot of interest, but it is a very quiet time of the year. And it's like my husband said, at the end of the day, it's like fishing. You put your line out there, which we've done, and we've done the best we can, and it's just a case of sitting back now and waiting for a catch. But of course, that takes time. And I'm not very good at waiting. So, but obviously I've got to, it's part of the process, and I've got to get over that. And also, I'm thinking about possibly getting a job. I haven't worked for several years. It wasn't, the choice for me not to work was because I was only part-time anyway, and I've had a lifestyle block for many years, which could consist of quite a lot of hard work, quite a lot of gardening and stuff. So I gave up work when we moved further out of town, because it wasn't economical for me to keep working because it was part-time and the travelling and stuff like that. And I concentrated on looking after the garden and looking after the property. Of course, now my interest has changed. I feel that I will look after the garden, obviously, because we're selling the house. But I'm no longer developing the garden, if you like. We developed gardens, we created gardens, we did things. I'm not creating any more gardens. I'm not doing any more creativity. I'm certainly not going to buy any more plants or orchids. I'm done with that. In actual fact, I've got my tanks, the 4 tanks that I have up for sale. Not that they take a lot of work, because they really don't. But I think, well, we'll start somewhere. We'll start with the tanks. So as I was saying, I've decided to look for a job, just a part-time job in our local town. And it's basically for the social interaction. It's not really for the money. The money will be a bonus, certainly, as I have to buy clothes now because I'm losing weight and it's been expensive. And I do feel slightly guilty that I'm using what I would term my husband's salary to do it, although he's never said anything. But, I feel I need a bit more independence in my life, and part of that is getting a job and earning some money that I can, I don't feel guilty about buying stuff. So that would be good. I'm also seriously thinking about getting rid of my orchid collection over the winter, taking it to the Orchid Society bit by bit and selling it, and obviously the society will get a 10% share of those sales. I could try and sell things on our local auction site, but by the time I have the hassle of boxing it up and sending it, because a lot of plants will have to be posted, I feel that I don't really want to take that on, because that comes with a whole host of problems, and costings and stuff, and it's not really going to be sort of probably the best way to do it. So for now, I'm just going to try and sell them through the Orchid Society. I do have to renew my membership this coming month, in April. I will renew it in order to do that. And I will keep my hand in with the society. You know, I will, like my friend Penny's really passionate about orchids, and obviously I still love orchids, you know, but I just feel that I'm just over it now, and it's becoming a chore. And I think when it becomes a chore, then it's time to move on to the next step. And so yeah, so that's the decision today. It could change by next week, because I am feeling, you know, very indecisive about making decisions about things. Obviously the house plants I will keep for now. The succulents and the other plants I've got outside in the old orchid house, I intend to just keep them, and they'll tick over out there. They're not so difficult to look after. You know, there's less worry about the cold and the heat and the this and then that with them than there is with orchids. So, you know, I will keep those. So yeah, so that's the plan going forward. The couple of jobs I've applied for, I'm waiting for if I get a response or I don't. Oh, and the other big thing, nearly forgot, is I've actually advertised the house on Airbnb. So we're now on Airbnb. If you want to come and stay, you can. It's called Private Oasis in the Woods, I think. I can't remember what I called it. But it is basically, again, it's for the social thing. I mean, I appreciate not everybody wants to be social when they come and stay at your place, and that's fine. If they don't want to be social, that's great. But it is for the social thing. It's for something else for me to do other than, you know, being isolated here. My husband often says, you are isolated here. You know, you don't really have that much interaction with people. And I want that more. So, yeah. So we're up on Airbnb. So let's hope we get a bucking. You never know. Obviously, I had a block out when we're away. But yeah, so that's good. So all these things are like plans for the future. And I'm hoping that some of them will come to pass and happen. And so we'll just see. So yeah, so that's it for this week. Thanks for watching. Please like, dislike and subscribe, and I'll catch you next week, which will be week 36. Bye for now.